This is ABC15 Mornings.
Snow, ice, and flight cancellations.
They want to stock up on food in case the power goes out.
A massive winter storm continues to hit most of the country.
I'm Joe St. George in Imperial Valley, California. To find out why the price of beef is so high, it helps to head to the feedlot and talk with cattlemen about what's going on. What do they think is needed to make the price of going to the grocery store a little less expensive?
How much food do we waste?
Whole wheat bread thrown out, a baguette thrown out, salads thrown out.
New this morning, the search for solutions.
Paying sky-high prices.
Because of this lack of inventory, dealers are not required to discount at all.
Will car prices ever get back to where they were before the pandemic? And we're seeing on top of breaking news this morning, one person rushed to the hospital in critical condition after an early morning house fire. This happening near 28th Street and Indian School in Phoenix. Our Jamie Warren is live at the scene. Now, Jamie, you just spoke with the fire captain. What are you finding out?
I did. So he was not able to confirm this man's condition. He said that the last he heard was it was extremely critical, which means when they arrived, they did have to perform CPR. He was then taken to the hospital. So investigators, they are no longer here, just a company that has been boarding up this house. This fire actually started at around 1:30 this morning. A crew just happened to be driving by when they saw the smoke. And when they entered the home, that is when they found that man. And I am told that it was actually very difficult for them to get inside of this home because it was crowded inside and there were a lot of items in the way. And that posed quite the challenge for fire crews. Take a listen.
One of our biggest challenges when we have a fire, because how we systematically search the home. We don't just walk into a home and kind of spread out, especially if there's active fire. We do what we call a right-hand search, so we go along the walls. So obviously if there's a lot of materials, clutter, personal items, it just makes it a little more difficult for those to get moved aside and for us to continue our search inside of a home.
And they also aren't sure if smoke alarms were working inside of the home at the time. They tell me this fire is still under investigation. Of course, a lot of questions, but we'll update you as soon as we learn more. For now, reporting live in Phoenix, Jamie Warren, ABC 15, Arizona.
It's 6:02, a lot more news to get to. But first, we have to say hello and also talk about that most accurate forecast. Justin Pizzera joining us right now as well. He is in for Kaylee today.
Yeah, good morning. Meteorologist Iris Hermosillo is here. And Iris, we saw Jamie with that scarf on, and we see that little 37 down there in the corner.
It is a cold start, so it's possible you're hearing that heater coming on at your house a little more frequently. Before you step outside, you might want to do like Jamie and layer up with a heavier coat, maybe a scarf even this morning. We don't get to wear them that often, so today is the day to break out those heavier sweaters, those scarves, maybe even a hat if you've got to work outside. Look at that temperature in Chandler, 29 degrees there. That's one of the coldest neighborhoods, with temperatures at the freezing mark in Gilbert, near freezing in the Santan Valley. We're also looking at temperatures in the 30s in Surprise and in Wickenburg, not far from freezing in Maricopa, and we're below that freezing mark in Cave Creek at 31 degrees. So it is a colder start to the day, and today is likely to be the coolest day of the week. Phoenix Sky Harbor officially at 39 degrees. We'll dip down a little further before we start to climb to about 37 to 38, and then we start to warm, but it's going to be a really slow warm up. And today, believe it or not, is going to be cooler than yesterday with a high of just 59 degrees. So yeah, the cold is certainly setting in. We'll talk about how long it sticks around before our next warm up in that full 7-day forecast still ahead. Megan Thompson, though, has been keeping us posted on that morning drive, and as folks head out, they're certainly cranking up the heat in the car, I'm sure.
I am sure. And even last night, Iris, I made my husband go get me an extra blanket because I refused to turn on the heat. So just a nice extra blanket.
No heater yet?
Mostly in the overnight hours, I'll hear it kick on.
Okay.
But when I go in there, I'm like, you know what? I'll hold off. I want to enjoy these temperatures. Let's take you out to this traffic alert that I'm tracking here. This is the loop Loop 202, the South Mountain Freeway. I was really hoping this would be cleared up as I've been tracking it for the last hour or so. The best news is it's off the freeway. You notice it's the overpass on the South Mountain Freeway near Baseline Road where we have this tow truck now on scene. ADOT is still blocking off traffic with these cones in the roadway, so it's a little difficult to get by through this stretch. You can use Dobbins or Southern Avenue as your alternate, so you don't have to worry about that. Your traffic flows on the 202 South Mountain itself, they do look good. One other crash to tell you about, the Loop 202 Red Mountain eastbound near 40th Street. This is a semi off to the right-hand side. DPS is on scene working in that area, but your traffic flows in those eastbound lanes also look good. And Nick, I just noticed here another crash has popped up near the Loop 101 and the 202 Red Mountain. We'll give you an update on that coming up in just minutes.
Shaping up to be a busy morning on the roads, Megan. We're staying on top of more breaking news as well. Just minutes ago, President Joe Biden announcing the leader of ISIS was killed in an overnight counter-terrorism mission in Syria. According to the Syrian Civil Defense Ministry, 13 people, including 6 children, were killed in this raid. None of them were Americans. The president's statement not giving many details on the casualties, but he is expected to speak later this morning to give more details on this military operation. When the president addresses the country, count on us to bring that to you live here on ABC 15.
This morning, we expect to learn more about a man who was hit and killed by the light rail in Phoenix. Police say that he was crossing Central near McDowell when he was hit. The investigation shutting down operations in that area for a few hours. The light rail is back in service this morning. Right now, we are seeing the impact of that massive winter storm with 130 million people in the path of severe weather from Texas to Maine. Overnight, nearly 30,000 power outages reported across Texas and Oklahoma as those temperatures just plunged into the teens. Illinois, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Kentucky already declaring emergencies as that deep freeze sets in. Crews are working around the clock to try to keep all of those roads clear. Mother Nature also causing problems at airports across the country. Already more than 2,200 flights are canceled today. Dozens of them are at Sky Harbor. Now, best advice if you're flying today or you plan to pick someone up at the airport, just keep checking on that flight status.
A bill that would restrict which teams transgender female athletes can compete on now heads to the Arizona House. The Senate just approving the Save Women's Sports Act. It would ban trans female athletes from competing on teams that align with their gender identities. Supporters saying it's needed to prevent trans athletes from dominating women's sporting events, claiming they're biologically stronger. Opponents, though, say it targets vulnerable young people already struggling to fit in. The AIA says about a dozen trans students have applied to play on a team aligning with their gender identities. This is in the past 10 years.
The latest numbers show beef prices are up 20% compared to a year ago. The White House recently announced an initiative to lower costs, but will it actually help? Our Joe St. George talks to cattlemen on the front lines to explain what's really behind this hike.
These are a Holstein breed. These are males.
To understand why beef is so expensive, does this end up in the grocery store?
Yes, sir.
It helps to talk with the cattleman.
You know, beef prices are unfortunately right now up.
Jesse Larios has been doing this most of his life in Imperial Valley, California. And if you expected a simple answer regarding why costs are up, you aren't going to get one.
We got more livestock than we have harvest capacity in the United States.
Harvest capacity is one reason, though, which is a fancy phrase for saying there are more cattle than companies that can process them all and get them to a shelf near you.
We don't have enough plants to process.
Jesse says in many cases, the companies he and his fellow cattlemen work with simply don't have the workers.
COVID hit.
The Biden administration is attempting to fix some of this, however, with policy changes.
How far do they have to take their cattle?
In a recent roundtable, President Biden pledged $1 billion to increase meat capacity at smaller, more independent companies. We asked President Biden's top economic advisor, Dr. Cecilia Rouse, when that program, as well as other efforts, will mean a decrease in prices.
When can people start feeling it at the grocery store?
So most outside forecasters are expecting that inflation will be about half it is today by this time next year.
We do welcome that.
Jesse does like the White House plan, but he cautions costs are high for other reasons too. See that grain? There's corn in it, and corn costs have skyrocketed. He's paying $2 more a bushel and says it's likely because of high oil and gas prices. It may be hard to believe, but when gas prices are up, more people want to buy corn since corn can produce fuel alternatives like ethanol. All of this means that it's, well, complicated. We asked if grocery store bills will ever improve.
So will beef prices go down? Yes, I do believe they will. But will they go back down to the level they used to be? No.
In Imperial Valley, California, I'm Joe St. George.
Well, do you have plenty of citrus on your trees right now? You can donate your extras to St. Mary's Food Bank. Now through April, there will be bins for donations outside the warehouse in Phoenix and Surprise. The food bank will help you unload everything. They're open Tuesday through Saturday.
Next on ABC 15 Mornings, younger people heading to other platforms. For the first time in history, Facebook sees a dip in users.
Get these guns and get them out of our children's hands. Get them from coming in to our community.
Gun violence spiking across the country. Today, the president will outline his plans to stop the shootings.
And it's more than just microchips. A look at the rising costs at car dealerships and whether prices will start to fall at any point this year.
Speeds are dropping on the I-10 eastbound near 43rd Avenue. This is a live view for you of that. Those speeds below 50 miles per hour. The time is now 6:10, but what about the next half hour, the next hour as you're getting ready to leave? We are launching predictive traffic. We'll give you an update on this stretch in just minutes.
.13. Let's get to your morning headlines. Today, President Joe Biden and Attorney General Merrick Garland will head to New York City to talk about efforts to curb gun violence. The Biden administration is hoping to partner with Mayor Eric Adams and other local officials to stem the rise in shootings and violence against police officers. 3,000 U.S. troops will be moved to Eastern Europe as tensions along the Russian border with Ukraine show no signs of easing up. The Pentagon says the move is to show support for NATO. Federal intelligence agents are working with the Inglewood Police Department near L.A., preparing the security measures there for Super Bowl 56. In addition to the Secret Service and local police, Homeland Security, the FBI, and Customs and Border Protection will all be involved in protecting SoFi Stadium. For the first time ever, Facebook saw a decrease in the number of daily users last quarter. Its stock also dropping more than 20%. As a result of this, the company lost $200 billion in market value. Instagram users also actually increased, I should say, but at a much smaller number than what was expected. Interesting, maybe some shifts in the social media landscape.
Right now, we are seeing historically high prices for both new and used cars. So what is driving up the prices, and when can we finally see those costs go down? Experts say availability could start to increase as production comes back online and the supply of car parts improves.
It's not just microchips that we're seeing shortages of. We're seeing resin used in paint, we're seeing tire shortages, and even wiring harnesses, and on and on. In 2023, we'll expect prices to start to come down, but I don't expect to see a return to the old days.
J.D. Power says they're seeing a rapid shift in the kind of cars people are buying right now, with more looking at trucks, SUVs, electric vehicles, and more expensive luxury cars. Speaking of cars, Megan is here with a check on your Thursday morning drive.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
And it is busy out there, Justin. Let's get a check of traffic now. Loop 202 Red Mountain eastbound near 40th Street, a semi off to the right-hand side. Those hazards are on after a crash in that area. Loop 202 Red Mountain westbound near Scottsdale Road. We also have a crash. That one is also off to the right-hand side. The Loop 202 South Mountain Freeway, that crash off the freeway at Baseline Road. It is in the clearing stages, so hopefully that'll happen soon. Tracking those speeds on the I-10 eastbound in the West Valley, you're looking good. It's as you are approaching 43rd Avenue that you're going to start tapping the brakes ahead of the stack. Right around 35 miles per hour right now, 62 miles per hour on the 17 southbound, and on the 51 southbound right around 61 miles per hour. However, this is our traffic predictor letting us know what those speeds will look like in the next half hour, the next hour or so you know what to expect when you're leaving. So we're seeing speeds looking nice right now on the 10, and of course the 17 and the 51 usually are good spots. But as we move traffic predictor for forward. This is what we're looking at 7 a.m. We're seeing that those speeds right around 56 miles per hour on the I-10 from the Loop 303 to the mini stack. We're seeing those speeds in the yellow on the I-17 from this stack as you're making your way down towards the split, right around 51 miles per hour, and sticking good in the green on the southbound lanes of the 51 from the 101 to the mini stack.
Thank you, Megan. Looks like things are going to be slowing down, at least in some spots. I know you're going to keep us posted with that traffic look in just a bit. Now, let's talk about conditions around the valley, because maybe you're getting ready to get out the door before things slow down. It's going to be cold when you step outside, and colder than it was at this time yesterday. We're waking up to freeze alerts in parts of our state, too. We've got freeze warnings and hard freeze warnings in northwest Arizona, Mojave County and La Paz County, and freeze alerts to our south, too, including portions of Maricopa County and Pinal County. Just south of the valley, these freeze alerts are in place. Temperatures in comparison to 24 hours ago, 15 degrees colder at the airport, but nearly 30 degrees colder in spots like Tucson, Show Low, and Window Rock. And as you look at those temperatures, that puts us at just 3 degrees in Window Rock, 13 degrees in Winslow, single digits and teens in Heber and in Show Low. And you're noticing that temperature in Flagstaff at just 13 degrees. Meanwhile, as we go into southern Arizona and central Arizona, 39 right now at Phoenix Sky Harbor, but below freezing at 30 degrees in Casa Grande with some 20s to our south, too. Temperatures around the valley sitting below freezing in a few communities like in Chandler, Mesa right now at 36 degrees, in the low 40s in Glendale and in Goodyear, but again, Phoenix right now at 39. So we start off cold, and that colder air is actually going to stick around through today. So that's going to make today cooler than yesterday by a few degrees, which means we're only going to make it into the upper 50s. I think we'll see that high of 59 degrees by around 4 o'clock, but we won't even start to see those 50s until close to 11. So today is a good day to break out those sweaters or coats that you only get to wear a few times a year, maybe those boots too, because today again will be the coolest day of the week with some occasional breezes through the afternoon, but winds not as strong as what we felt yesterday. Look for a high of 59 today in Mesa, 59 in Tempe. Then tonight again, a few freezes, not as many as this morning, but we could see that freezing temperature down in the Santan Valley by tomorrow morning. And in the West Valley, we may see a few spots hit the 60-degree mark, Litchfield Park, Goodyear and Avondale, but still running about 10 degrees below the average high for this time of year. As you look at those temperatures around the state, 20s and 30s for northern Arizona today, with Flagstaff topping out at 29, 43 today in Payson, 59 for Phoenix, and Lake Havasu reaches 60 degrees. And then tonight, back in the single digits and teens up north. But here's the deal. After tonight, temperatures do start to trend up. Not a huge warm up tomorrow, but we're up to 65 with some more breezes. Then up to 68 by Saturday. The 70s are back on Sunday as high pressure builds in, and it looks like 70s through most of next week.
Can they make it 12 wins in a row? Today, our Phoenix Suns are back on the road. They're going to be in Atlanta facing off against the Hawks. Today, we find out if any of our Suns will be be on the reserves for the All-Star game. It is highly expected Chris Paul and Devin Booker will be picked.
They should, right? Very deserving.
If they don't.
I know, it just doesn't make sense. Don't go down that road, right? We've all been talking about this. Hey, how would you like front row access to the team with the best record in the NBA this season? The Suns are releasing a new digital series called Courtside. This will give fans kind of a behind-the-scenes look at practices, the players' lives, and everything else it takes to keep the team healthy and performing their best. It's kind of like a reality show.
You can watch this on courtside.suns.com starting tomorrow.
All right, we love our Suns. Food waste remains a big problem. Ahead at 6:24, a new tasty way to solve the issue.
And they're traps that end up costing you money and trick you into buying things you really don't need. At 6:37, our Smart Shopper team protecting you from playing the fool.
Plus, in 20 minutes, the weekly unemployment numbers will be released. At 6:43, we'll tell you why there will be extra eyes looking at this morning's data.
And it is a bit chilly right now. Look at that, 39. But will the weather be warming up? Yeah, at 6:49, Iris has some great things to do this weekend in your Super 7-day forecasts. Well, people throw away between 30 and 40% of all food produced in the United States, but a new app is hoping to reduce food waste specifically at restaurants. Businesses can create surprise bags using food they normally toss out at the end of the day and then sell it on Too Good To Go for a discount.
No one wants to go out and look at it in the garbage and see a whole wheat bread thrown out, a baguette thrown out, salads thrown out. That was for us very exciting because we actually get our product out to the customer instead of having it sit in the garbage can.
Right now, the app can be used in these 12 cities, but the plan is to expand by the end of the year. A local barbecue restaurant is expanding in the Valley again. Little Miss Barbecue is opening a third location in Central Phoenix. They're going to be taking over Honey Bear's Barbecue on Thomas and Central. The restaurant is known for some other out of the box creations like their barbecue burrito. They're hoping to have the new location open in August.
Because the burritos weigh, I think, a pound, so it's a lot.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's good though, so you'll finish it. Hey, bowls, dumplings, donuts, ice cream, all of that on your bulletin board this morning. An event in the Valley combining all kinds of yummy treats. This weekend, the Arizona Bow and Dumpling Festival returns to downtown Chandler for its third year. But this year it's going to be a doubleheader because they're teaming up with the Arizona Donut and Ice Cream Festival. This is happening at Chandler Park Saturday and Sunday. Tickets start at just $6. Menu prices range from $4 to $14. There's also going to be an anime market, a car showcase, and a cosplay contest with prizes, so you can enjoy Asian dishes and dessert all in one place. That is on today's bulletin board. We're making you so hungry right now.
The nominees for this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame are out, and the list is packed with some big names. Okay, Dolly Parton, surprised she's not already in there, but Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie, Dionne Warwick, Pat Benatar, Duran Duran, Carly Simon, and Eminem, just among some others there. Now through April the 29th, fans can vote for who you think should be inducted on vote.rockhall.com. Inductees will be announced in May.
All very deserving, all on my iTunes.
I was going to say,
Coming
like,
out this morning.
all of them.
But I'm surprised, like Dolly Parton, Pat Benatar, Duran Duran. You're right. I'm like, really?
Dionne
You're not
Warwick.
already in it? Lionel Richie? Like, okay.
Yeah.
But all legends in their own right. Next at 6:30, companies are making record profits right now while we're all paying more out of pocket. So what can be done to stop the rapid rise of health insurance costs?
Plus, summer will be here before you know it, but will you be able to cool off? Why some city pools may not be able to open.
A man is pulled out of a burning home after an overnight fire here in Phoenix. I'll have the very latest from investigators on the scene.
The odds are favoring warmer than average temperatures for the rest of February. So if you like winter and the cold, today is a day to enjoy. We'll talk about those colder temperatures across Arizona in that full, most accurate forecast.